United States Department has issued an urgent warning urging American citizens to leave Iran as soon as possible. According to the advisory, United States citizens should prepare for continued internet disruption, plan alternative ways of communication, and if it's safe to do so, consider leaving Iran by land through Armenia or Turkey. The State Department also warned that dual United States-Iranian citizens must exit the country using Iranian passports, in accordance with Iranian law. At the same time, large-scale protests continue across Iran. Internet access has been now almost completely shut down for more than 100 hours. And according to available data, nationwide, internet availability has dropped below 1%, effectively cutting the country off from the outside world. Meanwhile, United States media reports indicate a significant escalation in Washington internal discussions. According to CBC News, Donald Trump has been presented with a wide range of military options against Iran, options that reportedly go far beyond conventional airstrikes. Earlier, Trump publicly warned Tehran that severe suppression of protest could trigger military consequences. The warning now comes amid near total internet blackout, ongoing nationwide protests, and evacuation guidance for American citizens. As tensions continue to rise, the situation inside Iran remains highly volatile, with limited information reaching the outside world and growing international concern over that may come next. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has issued a sharp warning regarding the situation in Iran. "I believe the Iranian leadership is living through its last days and weeks," Merz said. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has made an unusually direct appeal to Iranian protesters. Trump publicly urged demonstrators to seize government institutions, promising external support. In his statement, Trump said, "Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take your institution. Remember the name of the killers and abusers. They will pay a very high price. I have cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is already on the way." Trump. The statements come as nationwide protests continue inside Iran. Internet access remains almost entirely cut off, and international rhetoric surrounding Iran becomes increasingly confrontational. The United States Department of Defense has presented Donald Trump with multiple strike options targeting Iran, according to the New York Times. The report states that the Pentagon has proposed a broader range of military scenarios than previously disclosed. According to the newspaper sources, the list of potential targets includes Iran's nuclear program facility, ballistic missile infrastructure. So these options reportedly go beyond yearly, more limited strikes scenarios. But at the same time, sources indicate that Trump is simultaneously considering diplomatic alternatives. The New York Times reports that a final decision on a possible strike could be made within the coming days, suggesting that both military and diplomatic tracks remain active. With military planning underway and diplomacy still on the table, Washington appears to be approaching a critical decision point in its confrontation with Iran. European officials believe that the potential United States intervention in Greenland would undermine the entire international security system, according to Politico. Governments are trying to avoid a military confrontation. A direct armed invasion of Greenland by the United States will effectively mark the end of the post-war international security system, the publication reports. At the same time, United States senators have introduced legislation aimed at preventing such a scenario. According to Financial Times, the bill would prohibit the United States military from occupying NATO territories, including Greenland. The proposed law would prevent the United States Department of Defense and United States Department of State from using congressionally approved funds for blockades, annexation, or military operation involving NATO territory. Earlier, United States lawmakers introduced an opposing bill calling for the annexation of Greenland and its admission into the United States as the 51st state. Commenting on the issue, Donald Trump stated the United States needs Greenland for national security reasons. In the extended statement, Trump said, This is a vital for the Golden Dome that we are building. NATO must help pave the way for us to get it. If we do not do this, Russia or China will, and that will not happen. Military without the enormous power of the United States, much of which I built during my first term and am now taking to an even higher level, NATO will not be an effective force of deterrent. They know it, and so I do. NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in United States hands. Anything less, that is unacceptable. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald Trump. What are you watching right now is only the part of the picture. Public statements and headlines show what happened, but they rarely explain why decisions are being made, what is coming next, or what governments are discussing behind doors. So this is why exactly we create a private Discord closed community. And inside we follow events in real time. Diplomatically signals before they turn it into official announcements, military movements and shifts before they appear in mainstream media, strategic links between Iran, Ukraine, NATO and the Arctics, and the logic behind decisions that will shape the next phase of crisis. This is not option, okay, so this is not opinions, this is not speculation, everything is based on verified source, maps, timelines and cross-checked reporting. So material cannot be published publicly. Not because it's sensational, but because platforms simply don't allow that level of depth. Inside the private community we can go further, detailed operational maps, extended briefings and timelines, continuous updates and as events unfold hour by hour, and direct discussion with the people who actually follow global events seriously. And to be clear, this is not expensive, okay guys, so access costs about $1.60 a day. So it's like less than a cup of coffee. For information that helps you understand where the world is heading, not just where it has been. So if you want context instead of noise, if you want to stay ahead of the headlines, the link to the private community is in description or pinned on the comment. With Europe warning of systemic risk, competing bills in the United States Congress, and Trump framing Greenland as core security assets, the issue is rapidly become a major transatlantic flashpoint. Denmark has begun deploying military personnel and equipment to Greenland, according to DR. The report states that Denmark has sent an advanced military detachment to the island. Its mission is to handle logistics and preparation for the possible deployment of larger army units in the near future. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Macron issued a warning regarding threats to the sovereignty of European allies, according to Reuters. Macron stated that any threat to the sovereignty of a European allied nation will trigger unprecedented consequences. He added that France will act in solidarity with Denmark and Greenland. Political fallout is also spreading to Brussels. According to Politico, the European Parliament has postponed discussions on a trade agreement with the United States. The delay comes amid anger over Trump's statement regarding Greenland. Lawmakers reportedly do not want to vote to proceed, effectively freezing a decision on lifting tariffs. So with Denmark moving military assets, France issuing warnings, and the European Parliament delaying trade talks with Washington, the Greenland issue is rapidly escalating into a broader transatlantic crisis. United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been tasked with preparing a proposal to purchase Greenland within the coming weeks, according to NBC News. According to assessments by experts and former United States officials, the United States could be required to pay up to $700 billion if Donald Trump's success in pushing out a deal to acquire Greenland. The estimated figures reflect the potential long-term cost associated with implementing such an initiative in the Arctic tied to the United States strategic and national security interests. With Washington reportedly preparing a purchase proposal and projected cost reaching hundreds of billions of dollars, Greenland is increasingly being farmed as a central element of United States Arctic strategy. Donald Trump issued a blunt statement regarding Denmark's presence in Greenland. "Tell Denmark to get out of here immediately," Trump said. In a separate statement directed at NATO, Trump repeated his demand using even stronger languages. "Tell Denmark to get out immediately. 2 dog slits are not enough. Only the United States can do this, he says. Meanwhile, it has emerged that Danish intelligence services has already warned last year about military interests and objectives pursued by Russia and China in Greenland and the Arctic region. The warning highlighted growing strategic attention from Russia and China toward the Arctic, with Trump openly calling for Denmark's withdrawal, NATO drawn into the dispute, and intelligence warning about Russian and China's ambitions in the Arctic. Tensions around Greenland continue to escalate very fast. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, stated that all decisions regarding Greenland must be made exclusively by Denmark and Greenland. Greenland belongs to its people, von der Leyen said. She emphasized that Greenland is a part of NATO, adding the island population can rely on Allied support. At the same time, Donald Trump reportedly favors Greenland accession to the United States through a referendum, according to Politico. The publication reports that Trump believes the best way to incorporate Greenland into the United States would be to hold a public vote among the island's residents. According to Politico, United States officials are discussing various methods of influencing public opinion in Greenland. This reportedly includes information and disinformation campaigns aimed at persuading the population to support joining the United States, rather than applying direct pressure on Denmark, with European leaders reaffirming Greenland's rights to self-determination and United States media reporting discussion over a referendum and influence strategies. The dispute over Greenland continues to intensify on both political and strategic levels. Germany will deploy its first soldiers to Greenland on Tuesday, according to Bild. The report says the deployment will involve a small reconnaissance unit of the Bundeswehr. Bild adds that other European countries are expected to follow Germany's example. According to Sky News, several Swedish officers have also been sent to the island. Former Russian president and senior Russian official Dmitry Medvedev commented on statement by Emmanuel Macron regarding what Macron called unprecedented consequences for violation of Denmark's sovereignty. In a sharp-worded statement, Medvedev said, "The Gallic roaster crowed that if Denmark's sovereignty is violated, the consequences will be unprecedented." Oh really? And what will they do? Kidnap the United States president? Strike the United States with nuclear weapon? Of course not. They will simply panic and hand over Greenland. And that will be a fine of European precedent. With Germany preparing a military deployment, Sweden already present, and Russia openly mocking European warning, Greenland is increasingly becoming a focal point of geopolitical confrontation. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov stated that Moscow agrees with Donald Trump's position that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is slowing down the peace process. Here we can agree, this is indeed the case, Peskov said. President Vladimir Putin and the Russian side remain open. Meanwhile, the United States Permanent Representative to NATO, Matthew Whitaker, said the war in Ukraine has entered its most difficult final stage. Whitaker described the situation as the last yard, so the most challenging phase just before the finish line. He compared the negotiation to the final seconds of an American football game, saying victory is close but the final move will be hardest. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk rejected Moscow's narrative. Tusk stated that it was Russia, not Ukraine, that rejected United States' prepared peace plan. According to him, Russia's only response has been new missile strikes on Ukrainian cities. That is why the only solution to increase pressure on Russia. And you all know this, Tusk said. Speaking separately, Vladimir Putin said that Russia will continue to consistently pursue its objective in the conflict on Ukrainian territory. So with sharply conflict statements from Washington, Moscow, Warsaw and Kyiv, the diplomatic battle over responsibility for peace and blame for continued fighting remains as intense as the war itself. Since the start of the heating season, Security Service of Ukraine reports that Russian forces have carried out 256 attacks on Ukrainian energy and heating infrastructure. According to SBU, 11 hydroelectric power plants were deliberately targeted. 35 major thermal power plants were hit. 49 precision airstrikes struck thermal power station. 151 strikes target electrical substation. Each attack was described as combined, involving dozens of Geran-type drones and missiles, including Iskander caliber Kh-101 and Kh-69. The heavy strikes against heat and electricity generation facility was recorded in Kiev and Kiev region, Kharkiv region, Odessa region, Dnipropetrovsk region, Sumy region, Mykolaiv region, and Chernihiv region. So the strikes carried out during period of sharp temperature drops led to the massive outage of electricity, heating and weather, affecting millions of Ukrainian households. The SBU stated that these attacks represent a systematic Kremlin policy aimed to the destruction of Ukrainian population. Ukrainian security service classifies Russia's sustained strikes against the energy system as crime against humanity. As winter conditions intensify, Ukraine says the continued targeting of civilian enemy infrastructure is deepening the humanitarian crisis and raising serious legal questions at the international level. For right now it's all. We will see you in the next report.